This is our third video in a series of the golf fundamentals. Today we're going to talk about the body pivot. The function of the body pivot is to provide the power and the accuracy of the golf swing. The first component to the body pivot is understanding how the body should move. The first component is imagining that you have two imaginary axis points on the inside of each foot. And our objective here is to coil the body around each one of these imaginary axis points as we go back and through striking the ball. So as we get in our address posture, we get in a nice athletic posture, we go ahead and we coil our body around this imaginary axis point that exists on the inside of the right leg. We keep the right leg rigid in a strong position. When we go to start our downswing, we start with the left knee and the left shoulder moving towards impact, setting the left knee above the foot. And then from here, we go ahead and we rotate around that second axis point, finishing in a nice balanced position. The second component to the body pivot has to do with keeping our body angles. Basically what we're trying to do is this stick represents the forward tilt of our spine throughout the golf swing. And what we want to try to do is to maintain this forward tilt of the spine as we turn our shoulders on a 90-degree axis to these pivots. So as we go ahead and go back, we want to maintain the angle in our legs and our chest. As we wind back, you can notice that my chest is maintained the same forward tilt that I had at address. As I go into that second part through impact, you can see that I'm still in the impact position. And it's only as we come into the finish do I lose my angles and come into a balanced position on my left side. Now I'm going to ask my student Juliana to come in and demonstrate for us. As Juliana gets in her athletic ready position, she goes in, crosses her arms and gets in a good posture. She's going to go ahead and pivot into her right side. Notice her head moves slightly above her right leg. She keeps her angles very nicely here. Now she's going to start into impact position by starting with her left knee and her left shoulder moving forward, weight slightly forward at impact. As she goes into her finish, she's going to go ahead and coil around that left leg, finish in a nice vertical position, and finish in beautiful balance. To illustrate how we should turn our body and maintain our angles throughout the golf swing, I've got a stick here illustrating the forward tilt of her spine. I've got a stick across her shoulders to illustrate the angle that her shoulders should turn. As Juliana goes and coils back here, notice her shoulders turn 90 degrees to her forward tilt of her spine. We want to maintain these angles. It's very important. As she comes into impact, she's going to go ahead and separate. Again, noticing she keeps the forward tilt of her spine, not only in her chest, but in her lower body. And then as she comes in on the finish, she's allowed to come out of her angles just a little bit to maintain her balance. That wraps up our segment today on the body pivot. Our fourth and final video is going to be on the 6 basic positions of the golf swing.